We got some good stuff going on. It looks like there might actually be a chance for peace in the world, dare I say. I mean, this is awesome. So couple things happening. Number one, Donald Trump kind of seeing this as his ticket to heaven. In all seriousness, I'm going to play this sound from Fox and Friends this morning. But it's getting more and more crystal clear that there may be something happening. Just look at all the headlines. You have, for example, the Italian prime minister coming out and saying yesterday was a really, really important day for the world. You get the Finnish prime minister saying, look, good things are coming. Ted Cruz saying he expects a peace deal within the year. You've got Macron talking to Trump, and it looks like something's happening. Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, being caught on a hot mic telling Macron, and I know he's close to Macron, you know, even though they have their differences. I happen to know that he likes Macron, I think on a personal level, and he leaned over to him and he's like, you know what? I think we're close. I think we're close to getting a deal. Listen to this hot mic moment with Emmanuel Macron.
Thank you. I think he wants to make a deal for me. You understand that? As crazy as it sounds.
Woo! I think he wants to make a deal with me, he said, as crazy as it sounds. So that's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. I like that. And Macron's like, great. Like everybody's like, great. Like, wouldn't that be amazing? Now, we don't want to be naive, any of that, but it's a good sign, guys. It's a good sign. So he went on to Fox and Friends this morning and he spoke a little bit about this. I'm calling this his ticket to heaven. It's like highway to heaven. Take a peek.
Just want to end it. I want to end it. You know, we're not losing American lives. We're not losing American soldiers. We're losing Russian and Ukrainian, mostly soldiers. Some people, as missiles hit wrong spots or get lobbed into cities like Kiev and towns. But, you know, if I can save 7,000 people a week from being killed, I think that's I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well. I hear I'm really at the bottom of the totem pole. But if I can get to heaven, this will be one of the reasons. Well, I think I saved a lot of lives with India, Pakistan. They were going at it. The planes were being shot down. That was going to be maybe a nuclear war if I let that go. And I did that through trade.
Interesting, right? So he, I think, recognizes that this is an important and powerful time. And he has the ability to save a lot of lives. And wouldn't that be amazing? Heaven or not, right? Wouldn't that be something for the world? Let's say a prayer that this all comes to fruition. I'll tell you, listening to the mainstream media, it's like they don't want it to happen. They really don't. And I'm kind of thinking that Hillary Clinton might have to eat her words, you guys. Remember just a couple of days ago, going into the meeting, she said this. She said she's willing to nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize if he pulls this one off. Hillary, careful what you wish for.
If President Trump were the architect of that, I'd nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize.
We are on the precipice of a meeting between President Trump and President Putin in Alaska. Drawing on your experience as Secretary of State, if you were en route to Alaska, what would you be looking to get? What does an acceptable deal look like?
He is not meeting with a friend. He is meeting with an adversary, and an adversary who wants to see the destruction of the United States and the Western alliance. But if he could bring about the end to this terrible war, where Putin is the aggressor, invading.
Then, by the way,
country.
she says, I would nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize. Here's Donald Trump speaking again on Ukraine this morning.
I wouldn't say they are ever going to be best friends, but they're doing okay. And we're just going to see. So we're setting up a meeting. I sort of set it up with Putin and Zelensky. And, you know, they're the ones that have to call the shots. We're 7,000 miles away, in all fairness. You know, we've spent through the previous administration $350 billion. Europe has spent a lot also, $100 billion, but it should be reversed. If we should have been in for anything, but it wouldn't have happened. So that would have been much better because so many people died. This is the biggest bad situation since World War II. There's been nothing even close.
Politics is...
Yeah. It's a tough one. Look, and you know all the reasons. I don't need to school you all on this, but look, there's been this expansion of NATO that's been happening for a while. And the guy who's the architect of the deal, the former ambassador to the USSR, he warned of this. He actually warned of this repeatedly, including in an op-ed in the New York Times, where he said, look, if you continue this expansion, you're going to be in a situation where it's like the Cold War all over again, which could actually heat up to something worse. This is canon that I'm talking about. And so I just think that you have to understand this from all sides. It's complicated. I get it. Ukraine wants to be a sovereign nation. I get that Russia is feeling threatened. And I don't think there's really any easy answer. I was just over in Ireland. I was thinking about the Southern Ireland situation, but it's different because it wasn't as much of a security threat. I don't know. Well, maybe it is, to a certain extent. The Republic of Ireland, they did see the UK as a continued security threat being there in their country. But eventually they were able to come to the Good Friday Agreement. And in that agreement, which Bill Clinton, to his credit, had a big hand in, they were able to end the violence that was happening there on the northern and southern border. I mean, you think about Derry, right? Which the Brits would still call Londonderry. You think about Belfast and the violence that was happening, and it was because of a land dispute. And eventually what they came to terms with was, okay, we're going to live here peacefully. And if at some point in the future people vote in Northern Ireland to become one with the Republic of Ireland, we will take that into very, very serious consideration. In the meantime, what's going to happen is you're going to have the ability basically to hold both passports. Incidentally, it's kind of funny because the whole EU thing has a lot of people that may have had British passports given Brexit choosing to have the Irish passports because then you get to go through the lines a little bit quicker, right, in the airport. Anyway, long story short, they were able to find a solution. This is obviously different in Ukraine with Russia, but these things have happened before, and we just need to get creative and we need to get down to business, and this is what he's trying to do. So fingers crossed that, he gets that speed highway ticket to heaven, if you would, right? I'm hoping, I'm praying. Really good news on the crime front. Have you guys seen this out of DC? Amazing. I mean, I know it's only been a week, but wow, these are some pretty impressive numbers. I'm going to get to them in just a second, but I'm going to also point out that I am coming to you live from Greece right now. I'm actually heading back to the States very soon. And so the next time you see me, I'll be in my studio, but it is so hot outside. It is so darn hot that I'm inside. You can probably see a little bit of reflection on the glass behind me. I'm inside in my wonderful air conditioning. I was thinking about this because one of our other great advertisers here on the show happens to be a shale company out of the US, NASDAQ listed Prairie Operating Company. And one of the things that they've talked about, which I just so wholeheartedly agree with them on, is that there's tremendous benefits to energy. I think about myself and, I'm traveling with family. I've got older parents and whoa, it's warm, right? Like you're sweating in places you didn't know you could sweat. And thank goodness for air conditioning. We wouldn't have air conditioning. Thank you very much. If it weren't for fossil fuels, those terrible, terrible, bad fossil fuels. The reality is poverty's crashing. Life is booming. Things are good. Why? Fossil fuels. I mean, I get it. Everybody wants to say they're ruining the planet, they're ruining the planet, they're ruining their planet. But you know what they're not telling you? That they're actually pulling a lot of people out of poverty and they're saving lives. We live in the safest, healthiest, most prosperous time. Think about this in human history. Since 1980, global extreme poverty has plummeted from 42% to under 10%. Pretty miraculous, right? And why is that? Life expectancy, meanwhile, incomes, they have all soared, and this transformation happened. You know what? It didn't happen in spite of fossil fuels. It happened in large part because of them, from powering clean water systems and food supply chains to driving industrial growth and to life-saving infrastructure. Fossil fuels have been the quiet force in the background, helping to lift billions of people out of poverty. So I get, the activists out there, they just want to blame fossil fuels for everything. I'll tell you, the data tells another story, not to mention everyone's comfort level. But think about that. If you're older and you're suffering from the heat, that has effects on your health. And this is all thanks to oil. Go to oilfacts.com today, brought to you by NASDAQ-listed Prairie Operating Company, a high-growth, low-cost producer of safe and responsible American energy. Again, oilfacts.com, oilfacts.com. You can learn a whole lot more.